Good Wednesday morning, this is the Ohio AgNet, broadcasting from the Voice You Know with the News You Trust studio, sponsored by BASF and Veltima Fungicide, the proven #1 for the toughest corn diseases with a long-lasting residual when you need to be confident your fungicide will perform. I'm Joel Penorwood. It's going to be another hot day out there, and if you're looking for relief overnight, well, it got down to about 73 degrees here at the studio, and looking to hit the low 90s today. Plenty of humidity, so it'll feel quite a bit warmer than that. It'll be a warm one for feeding farmers later today, where our own Ty Higgins is heading out for another summer stop, sponsored by Paradise Energy Solutions, Timpty Trailers of Sydney, and presented by Ag Revolution. Disrupting traditional farm service by putting farmers first, they bring the dealership to you with mobile on-farm service for all brands, supported by Fendt and Massey Ferguson as your full-service agriculture partner. Also, do not miss the Dye Real Estate and Land Company's July consignment auction on July 14th. That's at the Putnam County Fairgrounds. And to learn more, go to dyerealestate.com or call 419-721-3497. Today's news feed delivered to you by Eberts Field Seeds, delivering proven local seed performance to Ohio farmers. It's time to start planting Eberts. Call us at 937-473-2521 or visit online at ebertsseeds.com. USDA's June acreage and grain stocks report delivered few surprises on Tuesday, with wheat providing the biggest headline. Corn planted acreage was estimated at 95.3 million acres, down about 3.5 million from last year, but still just a bit above trade expectations. Soybean acreage increased 5% from a year ago to 85.4 million acres and came in just as expected pretty much. The biggest surprise was wheat. Planted acreage fell to a record low 42.7 million acres. That's more than a million acres below pre-report estimates, and quarterly grain stocks overall close to expectations, with corn stocks slightly supportive and soybean stocks slightly bearish. Overall, the report's mostly neutral for corn and soybeans, while the record low wheat acreage provided the strongest bullish news of the day. We are seeing some of that being reflected overnight, with overall positive markets at last check. One of the biggest inputs on farm fields, fertilizer, and the Trump administration has announced this week they are temporarily suspending countervailing duties on certain imported phosphate fertilizers. That's a move USDA says could lower fertilizer prices by roughly 22% and save farmers an estimated $1.8 billion annually. The action expected to improve fertilizer availability as producers begin planning for the 2027 crop. Farm groups like the National Corn Growers, American Soybean Association, and American Farm Bureau welcome the decision. They say lower input costs are badly needed during a difficult farm economy and will help improve access to a competitively priced fertilizer. But very soon after that, and as groups were celebrating that move, they've begun criticizing Bayer-owned Monsanto when the company asked federal trade officials to impose steep duties on glyphosate imports from China. Glyphosate, an herbicide, the active ingredient in Roundup. Monsanto claims Chinese manufacturers are selling glyphosate below fair market value and is seeking tariffs ranging from nearly 70% to more than 440%. National Corn Growers Association President Jed Bauer, also a farmer here in Ohio, by the way, says it's very disappointing news and gives a rundown in this clip that NCGA put out.
So we had great news yesterday across the corn world. The president signed an executive order suspending temporarily the countervailing duties or tariffs on Moroccan phosphate coming into the country, which is great. That will lower the cost of phosphates for America's corn farmers. Unfortunately, today, we had the company Bayer decide to file for countervailing duties or tariffs on glyphosate coming in from China. So this is going to raise your price of Roundup and glyphosate that you use on your farms all year long. It's really sad. I'm so frustrated, and you should be frustrated. We have worked hand in hand and side by side with Bayer for years on fighting back on these lawsuits. Roundup has been around since the 70s. It has been re-registered multiple times. One of the most researched and studied chemicals on the market. We truly have put in tremendous amounts of effort supporting this company and their products, and we have been stabbed in the back. At a time when we are seeing record losses, inputs are just astronomical. The American farmer is being punished by billion-dollar corporations.
Again, National Corn Growers President Jed Bauer, he's also a Fayette County farmer. In livestock news, House Agriculture Committee Chairman Glenn G.T. Thompson has introduced legislation to significantly expand the H-2A Agricultural Guest Worker Program. It's called the Securing Agriculture's Workforce Act. It would open the program to year-round agriculture, including dairy, pork, and other livestock operations, giving them access to guest workers while also creating a pathway for some undocumented farm workers already in the U.S. to obtain temporary legal status if they meet eligibility requirements. Thompson says the bill would modernize the nation's farm labor system and help producers facing chronic labor shortages. Major livestock groups like the National Milk Producers Federation and the National Pork Producers Council praising the proposal. They're calling it a major step toward providing agriculture with a more reliable year-round workforce. Some critics saying it's not what the guest worker program was built for. The American Farm Bureau say they appreciate the move. Zippy Duval is president of the American Farm Bureau Federation.
Everywhere I travel in this country, I hear farmers talk about I can't find enough people to help me, and that is a problem. It's the biggest limiting factor that we have in American agriculture. I didn't choose to quit milking cows because I love dairy, but I had to make the choice to quit because I could not find dependable labor that would show up every day to help me get it done.
And again, as we talked, it's a hot one out there. How long is it going to last, and what's this 4th of July weekend looking like it's going to be? Well, let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin, brought to you by Seed Genetics Direct, the #1 fastest growing and largest Ohio-based independent seed company.
Sunny, hot, and humid here as we move through your Wednesday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin. Quick forecast update for you here in Ohio. We don't see any changes to this hot and humid setup for today or tomorrow. Now, where we do start to see a little bit of a change in the setup is going to be going through the holiday weekend. Friday, hit and miss scattered showers and thunderstorms start to develop, I think, probably late afternoon and through the evening. And then we see pop-up action through Saturday and Sunday. At this point, I'm going to say Sunday has a slightly better chance at coverage than Saturday. But still, keep the umbrella handy through the weekend. There are plenty of holes in this action, so it's not like the weekend's going to be a washout either. Just know we've got chances for moisture. Another chance of showers and thunderstorms for Monday, Tuesday of next week, but it's very hit and miss. I think we dial coverage back closer to 30 or 40% for the first part of next week, and then later on in the week we dry down. Temperatures next week stay elevated, but not as high as this week. I'm Ryan Martin.
Thank you, Ryan. Again, weather brought to you by Seed Genetics Direct. Ohio Corn and Wheat applauding some new legislation. Our own Joe Everett checks in.
Ohio corn farmers are celebrating a new law that will help strengthen the state's ethanol industry. Governor Mike DeWine has signed House Bill 170, creating a clear framework for carbon capture and sequestration projects here in the Buckeye State. The technology allows ethanol plants to capture carbon dioxide before it's released into the atmosphere and safely store it underground. Supporters say the new law provides certainty for future projects while also including protections for landowners. Ohio Corn and Wheat says the legislation will help Ohio ethanol plants remain competitive, attract new investment, and create more demand for corn grown by Ohio farmers. Association President Eric Tipton, a Fayette County farmer, calls House Bill 170 a win for Ohio farmers and our rural communities, saying it helps position Ohio to play a bigger role in the future of ethanol production. The organization also thanked Governor DeWine and state lawmakers for their work in getting the bill across the finish line. To learn more, you can find this article today at ohioagnet.com. For the Ohio AgNet, I'm Joe Everett reporting.
Thank you, Joe. We'll keep on with your farm news coming up next on the Ohio AgNet as we hear from Allison Kinney talking no-till scholarships. Stay tuned.
Be aware, ticks are there. As you head outdoors, remember to avoid tall grass, wear light-colored full-coverage clothing, and use EPA-registered repellent. Be sure to thoroughly check for ticks after you head in for the day. If you find any ticks, remove them carefully with tweezers and watch for symptoms such as fever, headache, or rash. For more information on ticks and tick bite prevention, head over to ohio.gov/ticks.
Ohio farmers, we know summer means long days in the field and plenty of work still to do. And the Ohio AgNet wants to bring lunch to your farm. The Feeding Farmers contest is back this summer and we'll be choosing farms across Ohio for a visit from the Ohio AgNet along with free lunch for your farm, family, and crew. If you'd like us to stop by this summer, get entered today at ohioagnet.com/feedingfarmers. Feeding Farmers is brought to you by Ag Revolution, Paradise Energy Solutions, and the Ohio AgNet.
The Ohio AgNet continues. Allison Kinney has the next story.
Joining me today is Amelia Tarbell. She is a Ohio No-Till Council scholarship recipient. It's great to have you here today, Amelia.
Yeah, it's great to see you. I'm super excited.
Can you talk a little bit more about where you're going with college and what this scholarship means and what the scholarship is?
Yeah, So I received the David Brandt Memorial Scholarship, and I'll be going to Wilmington College to study biology and equine studies with the hope to become an equine vet one day. And the scholarship's really just helping me pursue my education and achieve all the goals and dreams I have.
So what's your connection to no-till and conservation?
A few summers ago, I was an educational intern in my county, Pickaway County's Soil and Water Conservation District. And I got to help do outreach programs with the community and just kind of learn about how soil and water works to teach conservation to the younger generations.
And being that younger generation, how do you think looking on that conservation and, working with soil and water, how is that impacting your future and the way you look at it?
It really helped me just really grow a new passion that I didn't realize I had for the environment that we live in. We only have one world, so learning to just protect it and do everything we can to keep everything healthy and awesome.
What is one thing you want your peers to know about conservation and the efforts going forth by producers?
Yeah, so everybody has a hand in what they do. So whether it's just recycling things or helping on a farm and giving your tips and whatever you can learn just to make the environment better.
And you said you want to be an equine vet. Mm-hmm. How do you see that tying into conservation in the future of our natural environment?
I would definitely, equine vet, I would get to work with a lot of people and obviously lots of farms with livestock and all that. So just like working with the farms to discuss how their conservation practices may be affecting these horses.
And again, joining me today is Amelia Tarbell. Thanks for joining us today.
Yes, thank you.
A recap of overnight markets coming up next on the Ohio AgNet.
Looking for heavy equipment but don't know where to buy? Purple Wave Auction has you covered. Always online and always no reserve. It's your destination for construction or ag equipment ready to work. We even sell semis, trailers, and fleet equipment for your operation. Best part? It's free to join. Head to purplewave.com. That's purplewave.com. Sign up for a free account and start bidding today. Purple Wave Auction, the easiest and most straightforward way to buy and sell equipment.
If agriculture is your way of life, you need news you can count on. That's why Ohio farmers turn to Ohio's Country Journal, your source for the latest in crop updates, livestock insights, market trends, and the stories that celebrate country life across our state. Every issue keeps you informed, connected, and ready for what's next in Ohio agriculture. So don't miss a beat. Renew your subscription or sign up today at ocj.com/renew and grow with the publication built for Ohio farm families. That's ocj.com/renew.
Today's market analysis is brought to you by the Louis Dreyfus Company. Excited to bring a brand new soybean crush facility to Upper Sandusky, Ohio. Learn more about marketing your soybeans with LDC at 574-566-2113. Here's Ryan.
Grain markets finished the Tuesday session mostly higher. Yesterday was USDA report day. Obviously, the report had a slightly friendly twinge to it, but there were no surprises at all, basically. This report came in very, very close to expectations. Corn acreage in at 95.3. That's basically what it was on the March prospective plantings report. Soybeans a little higher than the March numbers, but still 85.36 was pretty doggone close to the average trade guess when you get right down to it. The all wheat number was below the average estimate and below the range, the lowest part of the range on wheat. That one is a bit surprising to me. It was even lower than the March number, and if you didn't know what you're going to do on wheat in March, that one was interesting, but still not really anything that gets the wheat market moving. Probably the biggest surprise came in the quarterly stocks numbers on corn. It was below the lowest trade guess there. I'm Ryan Martin.
Let's turn the page to take a look at the market numbers overnight as well as from Tuesday's close. July corn ended up 1 1/4 cents to $4.14 per bushel. December new crop corn 3 1/4 cents higher overnight, $4.39 1/4 per bushel. July soybeans checking in 2 3/4 cents down to $11.14, but new crop beans up 5 1/4 to $11.49. Wheat seeing July's gain of 4 cents to take them to $5.84 3/4 per bushel. September wheat up 8 pennies to $5.97 1/4. On the livestock side, June cattle from Chicago checked in at Tuesday's close 80 cents higher to $258.20. August live cattle down $1.15 to $242.43. September feeder cattle off $3.23 to $362.53, while July lean hogs 50-cent gain to $94.33, and milk class 3 staying even. Latest price check is $16.34 for August. As always, you can find more farm news online at ohioagdat.com. I'm Joel Norwood. This is the Ohio AgNet.